So let's talk about veins, okay? If you are drawing your own blood, you actually have quite a few places you can choose from. The first time I did this, I did it on my hand, and it worked okay. The needles in those smaller vessels, at the wrong angle, can kind of get up against the wall of the vein, and then the vacuum of the vacutainer can kind of suck up against the wall of the vein, so they can be a little what we call positional. The bigger veins, you're going to have a little less likelihood of that. I have drawn out of this arm. This is my, I don't know if you can see this guy. I've got a light here, and I really hope it's going to help. Maybe not. Anyway, this dude right here, this is my honker. This is the one everybody goes for. It's got scar tissue. It's been accessed so many times. But I know this vein really well, and I know that I can go right above the scar tissue, get a nice straight shot, and get all the blood I want out of that guy. But again, he is superficial. You can see the blue. You can feel it without a tourniquet. If you're blessed to have a vein like this, you're golden. You're not gonna have any troubles at all. Probably even if it's on your dominant side. And your vessels on your dominant arm tend to be more well developed because you use it more. So, you know, if you can swing your way with either hand, then you might look to your dominant side first to see if you can find a good blood vessel. But if you're not so lucky to have great veins, I'm going to show you kind of some tricks. I have taught many people to do blood draws, and what I always tell them is don't go by looks. It's tempting. You know, I've got, look at these great little teeny weeny veins in my wrist, right? They're right there. Let me tell you, those suckers hurt like a mofo, for one. For two, they're all kind of not very straight. And for three, once you get a needle in there, getting it to stay in the position that you need it to be in for long enough to get a few vials of blood with only one hand is very difficult. So ignore what seems to be the low-hanging fruit. It's not. It's low-hanging rotten fruit. You don't want it. So you got a couple of options. You can really go anywhere from here up to here. First of all, tying a tourniquet when you are one-handed is not as easy as it might sound. So I hold that. All you need is one fold under. You don't have to tie any fancy bows or anything like that. So I just tuck the guy under, right? And that's it. Then you got a quick release here. But look, my veins are already popping up. I've got, let me squeeze a little bit. I've got a real nice one here. I think that's the one I drew out of before. It's straight. I've got another nice one over here. Now, what you'll notice is, see some of these bulgy spots right there, right here? Those are valves in your veins. Do not go in where you see those kind of bulging areas. You will hit a valve. Your needle will probably not go through it. If it does, blood's going to leak everywhere under your skin. You're going to get a big bruise, and you probably won't get blood out of it. So if you can avoid a valve, avoid it. But try this and feel like, here's a great one, right? It's right on the wrist, probably be a little painful, but it's good size and it's straight and there's no valve. Feel that, all right? Feels very different than the tissue around it. It's spongy, it's firm, it bounces back when you touch it, and all veins feel like that when they're engorged. I don't care if they're here, I don't care if they're here, I don't care if they're here. That's what they feel like. So get familiar with how your veins feel when they're all filled up with blood. Squeezing the hand while the tourniquet's on can help pump it up more. Dropping it down below your level of your heart and kind of shaking it around can help pump it up more. A warm compress for 5 or 10 minutes can help pump it up more. And the tourniquet does not need to be screaming tight, okay? All it needs to do is block that blood flow a little bit. And frankly, even me going like this could serve as a tourniquet. My veins are popping up already, all right? So just put it as tight as you're comfortable with. But the important thing is to make sure you've got that quick release loop, okay? So hold one end here, bring the other end over, and tuck, okay? That is a quick release loop. And when I'm done drawing, pop it right off. Another great vein, everybody's got a vein here. Most people have a nice vein here, all right? The only problem is a lot of times there's a valve in there, but it's another good one to look at if you are trying to get a feel of what veins feel like. See, right now, you can't see this vein, all right? But I guarantee it's there, guaranteed. You can't even really see it on this side. It kind of comes through here. It's called the cephalic vein. Kind of comes through here. I can feel it. I know it's there. And then it kind of usually comes around there's a bit of a bony prominence here. Kind of comes around before it comes deeper. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this tourniquet on again and show you what I'm talking about. All right. So right now, you're not seeing a whole lot there, but let me pump this guy up, all right? Shake him down there a little bit. Bam. I don't know if you can see him, but it comes right up from the thumb here, okay? And then it kind of makes a detour this way. You need to pay attention to which way your veins are going. You're always going to point the needle towards your heart, okay? If you do it that way, it's not gonna work very well. But feel that. Close your eyes and feel it, and feel what a puffed up vein feels like, all right? You can follow it a long ways. I can follow mine. It dives deeper about in there, but I could draw really along any of this length, okay? And in fact, it's not a bad place to draw. That should be a fairly stable place to secure the needle while you're doing your draw, all right? And then the last one, of course, is what we call the antecubital. This is the antecube. It's basically the inside of the elbow. And notice here, you can't see my vein at all, right? I got this big old honker that everybody loves over here. Nobody wants to touch this vein, but you know what? It's a great vein. It's a big vein. I can feel it without a tourniquet, but you can't see it. And it's down in there a little bit. But if I put my tourniquet on with this, now this time I have to use my teeth. Sorry about that. So you're not gonna see it as much. But, you can kind of turn your arm. You can feel, some things turn with the arm. Those are tendons. Some things are always solid. Some things kind of move around. But the vein is spongy. Again, it feels like this guy. It feels like this guy. It's spongy, and it usually runs kind of right in the middle. Now, I happen to have a fancy little mole here that that marks right where I should go if I want to draw from that blood vessel. But again, it's deeper. I find that drawing my own blood, I have more success going towards the part above the elbow crease than below, simply because of angles. I'm trying to go in and get that needle to sit kind of right in the vessel, not like this, because then it's going to want to suck up against the wall. I kind of want it to just kind of sit in there. So that is where I would go for that. Some people will just take a little Sharpie and put a dot where they feel like the needle should go in. Because after you start getting everything ready, and you take your tourniquet off, because I'm not going to leave this on while I'm getting everything ready, you may kind of lose where you thought you had it. But rest assured, it'll still be there. And that Sharpie is not going to move. I would advise doing the Sharpie after you alcohol everything off. But those are a couple ways to find veins.